Welcome to another episode of Croc Talk TV. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And on today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about Jaycee Horn and what a lot of people were missing in the evaluation process, but what Carolina did not miss, and which led to him being the first defensive player selected in the 2021 draft class. All right, but before we get into that, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button right now, hit that like button right now. I appreciate all the support. Let's keep it going. So you're probably wondering, like, Croc, what were they missing? All right. Clearly, there were a lot of people that felt like he was the best corner in the class. And I think for the reasons that why they felt like he was the best, and even the reason why I thought he was the best, probably different reasons. Obviously, you can look at his film and you can tell like this dude's a big dog, right? He's a big physical corner. We're talking about 6'1", 205 pounds, jumps out the gym, had 40-something inch vert, 11-something broad jump, ran in the 4.3, so he's extremely explosive. And obviously, like those factor in him to him being the best corner in the class, but I don't think that factors into necessarily him having the best overall film. But there are certain things that Jaycee Horn possesses that you just can't teach. And that's what drove me to him the most. When you're looking at a cornerback, you really want somebody that's obviously like physically imposing and imposes that on the, the receivers that he's going up against. But you also want that dog mentality. And there are dogs, and then there are like the big dogs, right? The chiefs, the captains. And that's Jaycee Horn. So I got a message from a buddy that I actually played with on the New York Jets. He messaged me a year ago, and he was like, "Hey, Croc, love Jaycee Horn. I'm telling you, this dude, as a freshman, he came in. He was the alpha male in the locker room leader. Like, you don't see guys just come in to a SEC, just kind of take control, take command, and take on that type of mentality. But Jaycee Horn definitely did that." We can look at the film and we can kind of look at the challenges that he took on. I think that really told me a lot about the mindset that he has, guarding Seth Williams for an entire game, really getting beat early. Nobody talks about it, but he did get beat down the field early, did not let that make his game go up and down at all, just kept going, kept fighting. And obviously we saw that probably being one of the better cornerback performances we've seen in recent years. We could talk about some of the challenges that he took on, right? What's the kryptonite for a big, physical, aggressive cornerback? I would say probably a smaller, shiftier, quicker receiver. And he took on that challenge playing against Ole Miss, lined up in the slot to guard Elijah Moore. In 2 games, Elijah Moore had 7 catches for under 50 yards. We're talking about for a speedster that wins vertically, he had less than 7 yards per catch on Jaycee Horn. I think when you look at the matchup, it's a win. It's a win for Jaycee Horn. So when you start talking about just the mindset of taking on challenges and things that maybe might not even favor him, I think he still did that and did it at a high level. A lot of times when I start to talk about defensive players, defensive backs, receivers, one thing, or even, let's say quarterbacks as well, one thing that I always try to say is, what can you teach? What can't you teach? I can teach you technique. I can teach you, but I can't teach these certain things, right? Certain things that Jaycee Horn possesses that, I talked about it, the 4.3, the broad jump, the vertical jump, all those things. Like, that's hard to teach. But what's even harder to teach is that mindset, that dog mentality that he carries with him. And it's not just on the field, right? I talked about him on the field and that mentality that he carries, taking on challenges and whatnot. But after his pro day, when they ask him about Patrick Surtain and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" or his numbers, and it's like, dude, I'm the standard. I'm the standard. When I heard that, I said, I need this guy on my team. I need this guy, a guy that's really, and those are the things, and, just that mentality that Carolina probably fell in love with. You could say that right now, Patrick Surtain, who is a terrific prospect as well, but you could say, hey, maybe he's the most technically refined. But does he has that thing that you can't teach? And I think that is the biggest difference maker. And I think that's what a lot of people missed on. Why do people become bust, right? Like, is it because of lack of talent? No, it's never because of lack of talent why a guy is a bust, why a guy is taken in the top 5, top 10 and doesn't pan out. It's what's up here. It's the way that this guy approaches the game. Does he love the game? Is he willing to put in extra work? Is he willing to, do all the little things that other people don't? Is he complacent? Is he going to get complacent when he gets the money? These are all things that a lot of people have to worry about with prospects. You don't know how a guy is going to react, right? But when it comes to Jaycee Horn, a guy who's consistently always putting in the work, I've spoke with his DB trainer, and he's talked about him like, this dude is just different. He is different. And I think that's the biggest thing. Again, the evaluation, you can watch all the film in the world, and a lot of this stuff jumps out on film, and you start to hear why this guy is different and how he approaches, preparing and all of those things. You can't help but bet on that type of guy. It's just the beginning. I think this is a guy who, when he becomes best corner in the league in 3 years, I'll be like, man, I ain't surprised. So that's going to do it for today's episode of Croc Talk. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like this video. I got plenty of more videos coming. Just my thoughts. I really love having this YouTube platform. I'm going to keep it coming. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.